Last weekend, I decided to go car camping off the grid in a BC Provincial Campground with no cell service. Now, this is something I have not done in more than 30 years. Next year, I would like to drive across Canada, so this is a good way for me to test what works for me for car camping and if it's something that I can do to drive across Canada or to have a longer extended vacation. Now in this video, I'm going to go through some of the car camping gear that I purchased and some of the items that I brought from home just to make my life a little bit more comfortable and easier. And also, I will tell you what I would do differently next time. I also will tell you why I will never camp in a tent ever again. There are 5 main questions that I needed to solve for myself. The first one is, how will I charge all of my tech? I usually travel with my iPhone and my laptop, my professional camera, my GoPro, and my Osmo Pocket 3 and my DJI Mic 2, plus sometimes my iPad. So I needed to make sure I had all the right connections and everything to charge these. So that's why I bought this Jackery Explorer 500. I bought it refurbished off of Amazon, but as I'll tell you later on, I should probably have bought at least a 1000 because this doesn't quite cover everything. And you can hear it just powered on a little bit. It's charging my lights, or powering my lights right now that I started taking all my lights down and realized, oh, I didn't do my gear video. So my solution was to buy this Jackery and a multi-cable, which is a 4-in-1 that will charge everything, including my Apple Watch and all of my tech gear. It has the right connections for everything. The second question I needed to answer is, what is the most efficient way to cook and what is my backup plan? So I had planned on using the Jackery and a small 7-inch skillet to do all my cooking, plus a small electric kettle for instant coffee. But a few days before I left to go camping, I was shopping in Canadian Tire and I discovered a great sale on the Outbound propane camp stove. It was on sale for $59 from $165. This is Canadian dollars, by the way. And the hot pot was on sale for $19, regular $39 or $49. So I couldn't resist those, and it was a great backup plan if my Jackery ran out of power partway through my camping trip. Now, also, I can use these as a backup when the power goes out at home because it goes out every few months. So it's nice to have the option of the Jackery and the propane stove and the hot pot to do any of my cooking when the power goes out. Now to make coffee, I used my Jackery and a small 1-cup electric kettle. I brought 2 kettles. I brought a little bit bigger of a kettle that's collapsible. So I had 2 options for that. And of course, all of these links are down below, so you can take a look at all of the products closer on Amazon and see what you like and what you don't. Now, I also found that this is a good solution if I want to stay in bed and still have my first cup of coffee in the morning. I can just plug it into the Jackery, boil the water, and add my Starbucks instant via coffee to it. And it worked out very well. And I don't have to get up and go outside and disturb anybody else if anyone's camping around me. Now, other items for meals that I brought and purchased on Amazon are wood plates and wood cutlery. These cute VW espresso cups, and I love them because I'm driving a VW Tiguan, and that's what this is, my little Tiggy. And also I bought a Yeti Rambler, an egg holder, a collapsible wash bin. And then some items that I brought from home are reusable silicone bags. They take up so much less space in the cooler, and I love that they're reusable. I can just rinse them out and carry on. A spatula, tea towels and dishcloths, and a silicone oven mitt because I don't know how hot everything's going to be on the propane stove. Now, using the propane stove, I made fajitas one night and kebabs another night. The fajitas I made in the hot pot dish, and I made the kebabs on a grill that I borrowed from a friend. And the grill was just a little bit too long for my stove, so I will either do one of two things. I will find a shorter grill, or I will find shorter skewers that I can use and cook the skewers in my hot pot. Now, I think that may be the better option because then with the hot pot lid, it will kind of contain all of the splatter. So it'll kind of keep it a little bit cleaner. And if you know me, the first thing I do is wipe down my stove, and I like to keep my kitchen and cooking area completely clean and free of all of that splatter and dirt. Anyways, I will look into buying something like that. And then, of course, you can't go camping without a reusable red Solo cup built for wine. You got to have a wine glass, right? The third question I needed to answer is, how will I be comfortable sleeping in my car? I did a lot of research to see how others are setting up their SUVs for camping, and I didn't know if I ever wanted to go car camping again, so I didn't want to do a build or alter my car, my SUV, in any way. So I opted for an easy solution. I bought an air mattress made for vehicles with a shape to accommodate the wheel wells. And it also has 2 chambers plus 2 pillow chambers. And I could inflate whichever chambers that I wanted to. So because my Tiguan is short, I opted to not inflate the pillows, and I only inflated the 2 chambers. So as you can see, it's a little bit more like a couch shape, and I could just sleep on one side and have the other side to lean on as a couch, or I could also just flatten it all out. And one night I did try it with just inflating one side, but I feel that this is the best way because then I have that warmth on my back as well. And I also inflated it so fast with this tiny, tiny little portable air pump. That's all it is. It's this little tiny thing. And it also has a built-in, of course, I can't push the button. Anyways, it has a light. If I go turn it on, it's going to whirl. Okay, double click, and it inflates. And I think a long press, long press is the light. So I can hang this and I can use this as a light. And it's got a few different modes as well. And maybe it's a double. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, now I'm blinded. So this is perfect. It's got different nozzles for different things. And then to deflate, I think you put this on the other side and you can deflate it that way too. But it's so tiny and it worked perfectly, and it still has a lot of charge to it. So I can just hang this and use it in the night as well. And I also found, okay, these lights, just so you know, they're not hot. I did a touch test and they're not hot. So don't worry, my bed's not going to burst into flames. They're not hot. Now also this fuzzy duvet cover and pillowcase I bought on Amazon, and I just pulled it off my bed because I didn't want to have to go buy a whole bunch of different bedding and all that stuff. So, and I thought it looks kind of cute to do it that way. And these pillows, they're from home as well. And if you can see the box that the Jackery is sitting on, that's a collapsible box I bought at Yisk, and I use them at home, so I just brought this, and it's full of extra blankets because you can never have enough blankets, right? And the other 2 things that I brought were a mini CO2 detector, which I could just hang, and also a USB fan that lasts 3 hours. So if you want it longer than that, you would have to plug it into the Jackery. But it was cool enough that I didn't need to have my fan on. I just had it on long enough for white noise to fall asleep to. And also a 3-pack of camping lights. I don't know if I have one up front here, but oh yes, here we go. These little camping lights, they're perfect for the walk to the bathroom and hanging them in the bathroom so you can see in there. But it's just a push, and there's 3 different settings, and the batteries come with them. It's AAA batteries, and they're in a 3-pack. So I bought a couple packs of those, and I can hang them around as I need to. And then the other necessity is mosquito netting window covers. They were ideal. I could have my windows cracked a tiny bit, and the mosquitoes wouldn't come in, no bugs, nothing like that. It was perfect. Now, also, I had bought blackout curtains and reflective foil to cover my windows, but I was parked in very tight-knit forest. The trees were super close. It wasn't, like, when it was nighttime, it was black. I really didn't need to have my windows covered, but if I was to do it again, I would put up, like if I was in a campsite that had more people around, or I don't know, if I was somewhere that I needed to black out my windows, I would definitely do that. I have this set that I bought on Amazon for window shades. So I put those in, they would have cracks. So I also did buy that reflective reflectix, which I can cut out and make perfect shaped ones, or to be honest, I may not even bother. I may just order something that is custom fit for my Tiguan and not even bother trying to do it myself. DIY is fine, but sometimes I just don't have the patience. And the last item that we usually don't want to talk about is going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Now, ideally, a portable toilet would be great, which I did buy this expandable portable toilet, and I decided not to use it because I was actually going to set up a tent beside me, so I had somewhere to store my other stuff and use it for changing, use it as the nighttime bathroom, and all that kind of stuff, and I ended up just not bothering. So I also had bought this little tiny bathroom. It's a portable urinal for ladies. It's got the attachment, and I brought it, but thank goodness I didn't use it. So that was nice. I just didn't want to make that walk in the dark to the outhouse. Even though I had my little light with me, I'm just terrified of what's hiding behind a tree. Is it a bear? Is it a cougar? At night, and when I'm camping, everything turns into a bear that's going to get me. So that's it. I didn't do it. Thank goodness I didn't have to go, but I had it as a backup. Now, number 4 is, what is my camp setup? And you know what? I was looking through my videos and I realized I didn't even take any footage of the full setup. So next time I will definitely do that. I have this large table that folds up super small and 2 matching small tables. And I have an outdoor rug that's waterproof, and I bought a 6-foot one, but in hindsight, I just might end up getting a bigger one. I could see using a 12-foot, double the size of what I have. Also, I bought a thermocell for mosquitoes and definitely needed it one night. I also bought this outdoor string lights. They're 76 feet and they're beautiful and they look so gorgeous all set up. These ones are only powered by electricity, so I have to use them with my Jackery. So maybe if I was to go camping, I'd look for a different solution, or if I had a more powerful Jackery, that would be another great option as well. Now, also for my phone footage, I use my phone to film all of this because it's just so much more convenient. So I bought this 62-inch tripod for my phone, and it has been a lifesaver. I use it at home. I used it all while camping. And then I also bought some magnetic hooks that I could use when my trunk is open. I could attach them to the metal parts and hook things on, or even to the outside of my car and hook my dish rag on there to dry, and a few things like that. Now, let's talk about some bonus items. You have to bring card games. Whether you're traveling solo, you could bring a deck of cards and play solitaire, or if you're traveling with a bunch of friends, there's a ton of games. My favorites are Skip-Bo, Phase 10, and Uno. And I just realized this weekend some friends brought many variations of Uno, I didn't realize how many variations there are. So I'm going to list down below some of the Uno games, which I don't know, some of them were pretty cutthroat and they were a lot of fun. Now, also, just in case items that I keep in my car are this tire inflatable. It's a portable air compressor and also a 2-volt lithium jump start box. I didn't want to be stranded with a flat tire or with a dead battery if by chance something was not turned off properly and I couldn't start my car. So those were 2 things that were absolutely necessary. And then I'm talking to the women now. To get rid of that wild morning hair with all the fuzzies and all the weird crazy stuff, I brought this cordless brush with me. And if you see me looking around, I'm parked and cars are going past me, so they're probably wondering what the heck I'm doing. But they are going backwards. They're going backwards down the one way. Anyways, at any rate, I'm getting distracted. So I brought this brush to help smooth out the craziness in my hair. And it's a rechargeable brush that heats up and you can just smooth it out and get rid of some of the craziness so you can look a little bit more presentable. Now, what I learned and what I would do differently next time is to have a refrigerator to keep my food cold longer than 2 nights instead of just a cooler because the ice melted super quickly. In order to power this, I would need a more powerful Jackery or buy the solar panels to recharge mine every day. And secondly, I discovered that I didn't have a covered area to sit under if it rained or if it was too sunny. I would need to invest in an awning such as the Rhino Rack or one that will cover the side and the back as well of the SUV. Fortunately, like I said on this trip, I was parked in a heavily wooded area and there wasn't much sunlight on my campsite and it didn't rain as well. I also felt very disorganized this trip, so I think next time I'll find some containers that stack better together and that are a little bit easier to maneuver than these big bins that I brought. Perhaps I'll also try some collapsible bins that I can store them easier when I'm not using them, and also some sealed bins for the dry food. The other thing I would do differently next time is instead of these plastic water jugs, I would buy something that is more solid because these collapsible ones, when I was using the water, the water would move around and then the jug would fall off and I would lose water. So if I got something that is more hard plastic or metal or something else, then that would be a little bit more solid and I would feel more secure with my water. Now, in my Amazon wish list, I have the Dometic 11-liter container. And it's got a faucet add-on. And also, it looks like it's the right size to fit behind my seat. So I think that would be absolutely perfect. I might give that a try. I have it on my wish list, so hopefully I'll be able to buy it eventually. Now, the last thing that's important that I would purchase for my next trip is a portable shower, such as the geyser with the pop-up shower bathroom tent. And a proper shower is a necessity for me. I felt so grimy and gross. I just wanted to go home and have a shower. The other thing that I found that is in my Amazon wish list that I think would alleviate some of my organizational stresses is this overland kitchen. This looks like it would be the perfect setup. It folds down to this tiny drawer, but when extended, you have a leg that pulls down that you can have a cooking surface, a cutting surface, a washing surface, and storage. So this is definitely something that is worth the investment if I'm going to keep doing car camping. Okay, now for a serious talk. Out comes the hat for the serious talk. I didn't set up my tent. I completely chickened out. I panicked. I can't sleep in a tent. And this is why. Years ago, I was in my 20s, so yeah, not very long ago. Anyways, a few years ago, some friends and I were camping off the grid a little bit. We were right by a lake. There was one amenity with an outhouse pit toilet, and we set our tents up around the campfire. And in the middle of the night, a bear brushed against my tent. Now, I know it wasn't my friends playing a trick on me because I was out of that tent so fast and into my car and I was honking the horn, and the bear just kept walking around the campsite. It didn't even phase with me honking the horn and making such a racket. I was terrified. And then one of my friends got up from his tent and went and started up his motorcycle, and the bear just slowly meandered away. Now, I am terrified of bears because also when I was younger and we were camping as a family, I was sleeping in the camper where the table folds down to the bed. And I was awoken with a bear looking in the window. So it was standing on its hind legs, looking in the window at me, probably thinking there's dinner on the table, right? So after those two instances, I will never sleep in a tent. They terrified me. So anyways, that's my campfire scary berry story. And yeah, so that's why I love the idea of car camping or camper van camping, but something that is a little bit more self-contained than a tent. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And of course, when I get home, I find out that there's more wildlife at my door than I saw while I was camping.